Well, hello, Gemini. What is up? This is your monthly forecast for the month of June 2016. Welcome. Now, briefly before we get into your horoscope, I just want to remind you this is a general forecast for anybody that has their sun, their moon, or their rising / ascendant sign in the sign of Gemini. If you want anything more personal, catered to you, your unique chart as a unique person, shoot me an email. It's in the description box, and I will let you know how you can schedule and pay for a reading with me. All right, now on to your general June forecast. And this is a super important month for you. First of all, honey, happy birthday to all of my June-born Geminis. I hope you guys have a great time this month. I hope you get to bounce around and do all kinds of different stuff, chat with all kinds of people, just like you guys love to do. Now, the emphasis is definitely going to be on you because of the concentration of planetary activity going on in Gemini, but also it's going to be shifting to your finances and then to your third house of communication for a little bit, which is your energy as well. So it's really all about you this month. So let's get started. So Geminis, what's going on this month is what's called a mutable grand cross. All mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, you guys are kind of at a crossroads right now. And I don't want that to scare you because I know you guys like to keep things lighthearted and fun. You don't like all the serious stuff. But this can be a very life-changing month for you because of this grand cross. We've got, the sun and Venus and a new moon all in Gemini. And then Mercury moves into Gemini as well this month. And then we've got Chiron and Neptune giving aspects to your Gemini planets also, which is called a square, which is a challenge. And they're in the sign of Pisces. Then we've got Jupiter in Virgo. Okay, and then we've got Saturn in Sagittarius. So there is a lot going on for you. So let's break it on down. Now, first of all, the good news is the sun spotlight is on you. It's in the sign of Gemini until the 20th. So anything that you want to do to make a change to yourself, to your life path, to your body, your appearance is being highlighted right now. It's an energy is being given to you to give you that boost to want to make those changes. So also Venus is going to continue to be in the sign of Gemini for the first couple of weeks, joining the sun. So this is such a good time if you want to do things like get a haircut, get your hair colored, buy some new clothes, change up your look, change up anything to do with your style. I know you guys love change, so change. Great time for positive change for you. There's a new moon that's going to be happening on the 4th in your sign, and this is going to be 14 degrees Gemini. So if you were born with your sun, your moon, or your rising sign around 14 degrees Gemini, or born around like the 4th of the month of June, then this is a very crucial time for you for a new beginning. And like I said, it's going to activate this grand cross. So it's really going to activate a significant change in your life for you because when we've got the new moon and Venus together, that means the sun, moon, and Venus are together, right? And this is, this is you, like looking at everything else. Now, the other houses that the grand cross is happening in are your 4th house of home and family, where Jupiter and Virgo is, your 7th house of relationships, which Saturn is in Sagittarius, and your 10th house of career, which is Pisces, which Neptune is there. So all of these planets are giving an aspect. So you're going to have to deal with reality checks when it comes to your relationships. So you may be feeling fancy free and all this good feelings and looking good, feeling good, but then we've got Saturn opposing you and your 7th house of relationships. They might want to say, no, Gemini, you can't go out there and flirt with people. You can't go out and just talk to anybody. You cannot just, go to the bar and shoot the with people like all my Gemini friends say that they love to do. You can't do that, okay? You need to stay your butt home, okay? And then you're going to have this thing going on with like Jupiter in your 4th house. You want to expand not only like your home in some sort of way, but you want to expand like your comfort, like feeling like good within your soul, like your soul wants to feel good, and you just feel like you want to be happy. And then Neptune is there in your 10th house of career. So, career changes can happen, but you need to be careful to see them clearly because Neptune can put a fog over things. So you're going to be at a crossroads with like everything important, home, family, relationships, career, all going to be activated by this new moon. So what I have to say about that is look before you leap. when it comes to making any decisions from now until the next new moon in July. Make sure you read all the fine print. Okay, I know Mercury retrograde is over the day after the new moon, but make sure you read all the fine print and you understand everything before you jump into a relationship, a career move, or before doing anything like buying a house, because Jupiter in the fourth will make you want to go out and buy a new house, you know, and just feel like, oh, this is so great, I could buy a new house. You need to really, really read the fine print. Make sure you understand everything that's going on. And make sure it's okay with your significant other if you're in a partnership, because there's that Saturn square to that Jupiter down there. So there's a lot of different possibilities and scenarios that can happen with the new moon. Just know that it births something new, and it's going to birth a big change that affects your whole entire life, Gemini. So be prepared for that. So Mercury, which is your ruling planet, is going to be trailing behind in the sign of Taurus up until the 12th of June. So this is your 12th house. So even though you may be feeling active, like, ooh, I just want to get out there and do this and do that, Mercury in the 12th is like Mercury is dunked underwater, and he doesn't really want to go anywhere. He doesn't want to think about much. He doesn't want to do much. So you may still be trailing behind as far as like your energy levels. You may still feel a little bit tired. You may feel very like active because the Sun and Venus are in your first house, but then Mercury will make you be like, nah, you know what? I just want to stay home. And I know Geminis, you guys are famous for not really sleeping. So I don't know, Mercury in the 12th could be a time where you can take advantage of actually getting some real rest for once. Because once we get to the 12th, Mercury is going to move into your sign. So it's going to be your ruling planet in its home sign. So you are going to be like extra Gemini, like thinking a lot, wanting to do a lot, wanting to just talk to people and just process all this information so fast and so quickly, and just talk about sports, talk about this, talk about that, you know, and just like process it and just throw it away like you guys usually do. One thing I would say to warn you to not get caught up in is Geminis. One of the negative traits that you guys are famously and notoriously known for is gossip, because of the fact that you guys like to be curious about everyone and everything around you. And if you find out information, you like to just kind of spread it around. You guys are the people that we need in this world to spread news around and to gather the news and just deliver it and then move on to the next thing. That's very important, you know, to our existence here. But don't be the deviant twin and really be nosy in people's business just so you can have something to talk about really quickly and then trash it and throw it away, because not everyone takes information, like personal information, so lightly like that, you know. So be careful not to be gossipy and too chatty to where you're annoying people or hurting their feelings. I know you're going to be so excited this month, but just try to keep that stuff like down to a minimum or zero if possible. Now, one thing I must warn you about with your ruling planet is while it's still in your 12th house in Taurus, it's going to oppose Mars retrograde in Scorpio around the 9th or 10th of June. So this is a conflict between your 12th house and your 6th house. Mars in your 6th house is a house of work. So you could be having a lot of things, a lot more work come up to take action and go back and correct and do things with. And then Mercury in the 12th house, it just wants to sleep. It doesn't really want to do much, you know. So this can cause conflicts at the job. So I would say be mindful of that. Try to keep yourself alert and awake, you know, around this time so that you can fix problems, yes, but try to have like a clear mind and not a foggy head, which Mercury in the 12th house can have a very like foggy head, you know. So maybe drink some extra coffee or go jogging in the morning during that time to, you know, make sure that you avoid conflict and too much aggression, but are able to still have a clear mind to resolve anything that comes up around the 9th or 10th. Speaking of Mars and Scorpio, Mars is going to be there until the 2nd of August. It's going to be retrograde until the 29th of June. So hooray, at the end of this month, it goes direct. Now, as I mentioned, it's in your 6th house. So yeah, your bosses could be piling on you, or any mistakes that you made previously, they're going to be coming back up again for you to finally resolve and fix. So Gemini, try not to be too agitated on the job. I know Mars in the 6th house can cause like people to all of a sudden in the workplace like irritate you to no end, you know, or it might be you you might be a little bit more of a target in the workplace. So just try to be low key, okay? If anybody brings up any mistakes that you made, don't argue, don't try to talk your way out of it. Just say yes boss, or yes whoever, yes manager, and just fix it, Gemini. Now the energy is going to shift out of Gemini towards the end of the month and into Cancer. This is your second house of earned income. The sun is going to move into Cancer on the 20th. Venus is going to move into Cancer on the 17th. During the very last days of June, Mercury, your ruling planet, is going to move there. So it's going to be a sneak preview of the beginning of July as far as having 3 planets in Cancer, focusing on that energy. Now, this is your second house. So yeah, you might have some things come up as far as finances and how you handle them, how you budget your money, how you spend your money. And Cancer, it likes to be in its shell and not really explore very much. So I know this is not a very comfortable energy for Gemini at all. Like, first house is comfortable for you guys because you like to move about and just do things and just talk and just do, right? And then the second house makes you kind of slow down and think about things first. And then Cancer energy also makes you slow down and stay home a little bit more. So I know it's not very comfortable, but use the energy, use this time to organize your budget. I know Gemini is generally speaking about Gemini from what I've witnessed and seen. You guys don't really care too much about all the little details of balancing your checkbook and stuff. You kind of like to keep things moving, and your mind moves very fast. So you don't like to dwell on sitting there budgeting for hours. But let me tell you, Gemini, you may be called to do that this month, so you need to have the patience if so. But yeah, also how you utilize your resources is going to be highlighted, especially around the home, because Cancer is the energy that rules the home. So that is going to be another focus for you with the Sun and Mercury and Venus there. Now with Venus in the second house, I'm just going to warn you, it can encourage you and make you feel a little more like spending, because Venus rules money and it rules material possessions. So you may want to just go shopping randomly even more, but you may be checked on that if you overdo it, because Saturn is opposing all of your Gemini energy right now. So just try to keep it to a minimum, but definitely enjoy spending a little more money if you have some, but keep up with that budget, Gemini. Keep yourself out of trouble. Now, as I mentioned earlier about the Grand Cross, Neptune and Chiron are in your 10th house of career, and they're going to be going retrograde. Neptune goes retrograde on the 13th of June, and Chiron goes retrograde on the 27th of June. So Chiron being the wounded healer, it can bring up some old issues that have to do with authority figures, just being honest, parent figures. That's what the 10th house rules besides career. So it's a great time to, you may have some things come back up again, just being completely honest, that have to do with authority figures and parents. But Neptune is a planet of compassion and healing, and Chiron is a planetoid or an asteroid that has to do with healing too. So healing anything that comes up with parental figures, these are going to be going back over those issues again for you. Now, if it has to do with career, Neptune there, in your career house, you guys can be doing, a lot of Geminis, some very creative things where you're putting yourself out there, like on social media, with video, photo, things like that. Neptune retrograde is going to be going back over those things, back over your career choices. You may have something come up to where you have to really look at your career. Are you doing the right thing? And Neptune is kind of foggy, it's not always very clear, so you will have to bring things to clear a little bit more when it comes to career during that retrograde. So lastly, the full moon is going to be on the 20th in the sign of Sagittarius at 29 degrees of Sagittarius. This is in your 7th house. So let me tell you guys, I know last month in May we had a full moon in Sagittarius as well. 1 degree Sagittarius in conjunction with Mars, the planet that rules aggression and anger, and we could see it big and bright and orange right next to the full moon last month. Pretty awesome to see, but maybe not so awesome when it comes to your relationships. A lot of my Geminis, you may have gotten into some heated fights, okay, just being honest, around that full moon. And this full moon, this time around, this is the 29th degree. It's the very last degree of Sagittarius, so it's a great time to complete any conflict that came up at the last full moon. So complete it. Either drop that person, get rid of them, or have a new beginning with them and release the old arguments, the old pain. Get over them, work them out, and move on. Great time to do that. Also, the full moon in Mars last month could have brought a lot of passion into your relationships. So that's a good thing. And then this full moon can just bring things to even more of a final decision of what you want to do. You could have had a very passionate encounter with someone relationship-wise last month. And then this month you make a decision of whether or not you really want to continue on that relationship. So those are just a few possibilities that can happen with this full moon. All right, Gemini, well, this is going to be an intense month for you. I really hope this was helpful. And remember, if you want a more personal reading for me to look at things for you on a personal level, I can definitely do that. Just shoot me an email and I will be glad to help you out. All right. Well, take care of yourselves and I will see you guys in the month of July. Enjoy your birthday month. Mwah.